Good evening. Gun. We must make gun. Let's see here. Move this guy out of the way. Let me grab our Tarkov guy. Apparently it's a weapon making day today. First we do sword, and next we do gun. Let's see. Need a nice flat piece to work on. I do. That's Emma. She was tagging me in the store. The person gave her a little thing of stickers. She spent the rest of the day tagging me. little monster. All right. You're up in the clouds right now, there, Looney Lorna. Well, tomorrow is Friday. Just saying. Usually that means it's a better day. At least it does around here. This is a pretty flat piece here. Got a little bit of a bow to it, though. Yeah. Oh, it'll work if we... Troll heads. That's right. Troll heads and weekend. Always a welcome thing. You know, let's just... Has this been big enough? Let's just use this one, but I'm going to hit it with the belt sander real quick. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, they pay a lot of, or they charge a lot of money for data while you're up in the sky. Little monsters. You know, I'm slightly agitated by the fact that all the airplanes have like a bajillion no smoking signs still on them. Does anybody else like think like, to me it's like shows that these planes are just super old. Like it's like in your face that they're using like super old equipment that hadn't been updated. Because I bet they needed like 1 million of them when they first made the switch where you couldn't smoke on planes anymore. But now it's like everyone just knows that, so I don't understand why they need 1 million signs. So that tells me they put them there, or they just have been there the whole time. What's up, Saz? Yeah, okay, let's see. So when did they make the change so you could not smoke on a plane? Okay. 1988. (1994 to 1997), major airlines like Delta and United moved to ban smoking on all flights worldwide. Okay, so it's like 1994 to 1997. So that's how old those planes are. That's what my brain like goes to. So when I'm sitting there, I see that sign or the millions of no smoking signs they have on a plane, and I'm thinking, there's no way this is for us today, people. This had to be, these planes are just that old, I bet. Yeah, well, imagine that transition of the whole world was smoking on planes to all of a sudden you couldn't, you know? Of course, they would need like signs posted everywhere. Probably was like a daily occurrence that they had to like, that someone would get in trouble too, you know? Smoking in hospitals. Okay, the only thing I personally remember is the restaurant smoking section. Smoking or non-smoking? Like, as if the like little half wall divider is enough to like cancel out any ill effects of the smoking. Oh my goodness, man. So funny. Quarantine the smoke, yeah. I know a place where the no smoking was in the upper level. Brilliant. I mean, does smoke travel upwards or does it stay downwards? I guess it would depend on the way they have their like HVAC set up. I wonder if people like HVAC workers that like cleaned out, that did like filter changes on like like the heater at a restaurant, like when smoking was allowed indoors. It must have been interesting. Some pretty caked up filters. So I went ahead and I measured our character, and I calculated and figured out the exact. I looked up this particular weapon and its dimensions, and I found out our character is about a 1/6 character, and then calculated how big the gun would have to be for it to be the, precise size. And so then I figured out how many pixels that would translate to, sized up the image on the PC, and then printed it at the exact pixel size. So we have a perfectly, precisely sized weapon for our fella here. And we're going to use this as just a stencil to make sure it's all accurate. We are going to work smarter and not harder. For stuff like this, man, you just really need to just do stuff like this. It's not a matter of like, I can't do it without using a printer, because I can. It's just a matter of how many hours do I want to waste human braining it, you know? I prefer 0 hours wasted, actually. Shall use the tools. I think we'll do the same thing we did with like the sword. We'll create like a base layer clay, trace out the shape, the silhouette here, and then bake that, and then we build each half of the gun. Now, this particular one that I found shows holes here, but there's not actually holes there. It's more of like just a texture, so we're not going to actually do the holes there. Let's see. It's more like this one right here. See? This is probably be the one I actually use for the detail work. But this one I'm using for just the silhouette. At least you're building it. Surely there's scaled models of these weapons and no shortcut. Yeah, you're right, man. I should just order it off of Temu. Let's see here. 1/6 scale. Scale. Assault rifle. Oh, on Amazon. I'm just gonna buy that. Well, shoot. $12. It's tempting. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, about 4.5 inches. Very tempting. All right, we'll make it though. We'll make it. I don't have a printer. AliExpress, that's the place. All right, if I completely flop the making of the gun, then we'll order one. That'll be our plan B. Those are those things you just tell yourself to convince yourself to move forward when you know, I'm not going to end up ordering one. Just tricking myself into not being tempted by saying, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that if this fails. I appreciate the insight, though. It's always good to know stuff like that. All right. So now we will roll out a slab of clay. Probably want to keep it thinner, not the thickest piece here. Okay. see. Looks like the thinnest part is actually where the magazine is. It's technically the thinnest area, so everything else is much thicker. Let's go with like maybe a 3 or a 4. Where's my clay? Oh. You should use the one with the muzzle brake and not the silencer. That shortens it a bit. Really? Yeah, but maybe I want the silencer. The length isn't a problem, to be honest. He's gonna be holding it kind of like this, I think. Yeah. I was thinking maybe along his back like this too. Could go like that too. Like he's done, like the job's done. This is more of like action ready. This is more of like mission complete. Basically. I can also extend the butt because the butt is collapsed in this image, but we could extend the butt too if we wanted to. Okay. I should probably put down some clay glue here. Yeah, I imagine we're going to be doing a lot of this out of the extra firm clay. But we'll see. We shall see. Mm-hmm. Let's use the knife. And we just cut it out. I will put an optic on it, yeah. But I'm not going to worry about that. That'll probably be something we make separate. A separate element. Some optics. Irons. This guy's a poor guy. He's got just iron sights. I can see certain things like the silencer and this handle. Anything that's spherical being added. Afterwards too. Made separate. But we'll just include them for right now. No, I already did one, so definitely not. It's doable. If there's a will, there's a way. Now are we adding the mustache? Medusa with this particular nose and mustache. And buzzed top of the head. Only, but sexy. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. That's it. From now on, you just have to only order like characters, but always with the mustache, the buzzed head, and the nose, but sexy. Just have a whole collection of versions. Hey, Noodle. Awesome, man. Thanks. I'm excited for you to see this next one because I can really feel your collection will be interesting to see because I think you can see an improvement. Probably spanning throughout your collection from the beginning to the whatever the current one is. Yeah, she's got some spunk. That was the demon lady one, right? Nora head. You should take a look at. You should consider the more of the animated portrait. I really like how that one turned out. I like the regular pet portraits too, but the animated one has just a real special spin. Has a real special spin, I think, to it. I'll have to show you. She's got it painted up, and it looks awesome. Okay, I think we will cut this out probably with the Dremel tool. Yeah, I'll go grab it. We have to put this in the oven anyways. So, okay, so now we bake this, lock it in, and this will become our kind of our foundation to making the gun. So I'll be right back. All right. Pretty cool, huh? I think it turned out really good. And the Viking. That one was yours, right, Boral? This one? You guys can't see the green. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, she's only got one more left to paint, so from our last batch. That's tomorrow. If anybody's interested in getting Trollhead made, I'll be doing them tomorrow. 11 a.m. Central Time. I'll make anything that we can fit into a head. Whether existing, non-existing character. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so let's see. We'll definitely need that gun finished, so we can do this hand, and then we can do this arm. Maybe we'll start the. Now this arm will be holding the end of the pistol here, which will be strapped to his leg there. So maybe we need to also do a holstered pistol. Let's see. Let's figure out which one we're doing there. We're going to treat it the same way here. Ah, nice. Oh, that's the holster.
Noble ally, please accept these treasures as a gift for your unwavering service to the kingdom.
Hey, Olaf. Mr. Olaf. 127 months. Thank you so much, man. That's a lot of months. Epic, indeed. I do appreciate you sticking with me, Mr. Olaf. How you been, brother? Peace is not a place you reach, but a practice you choose. Ah, yes. Very good. So true. There's always things in life to stress you out, to worry you, to steal your peace. Always. They're always there. We have to learn to not let those things take our peace, to have peace. Not try to get rid of the thing that's stealing the peace, right? Because then there'll be another thing, or something else. Very good, very good. Okay. Sorry to hear that, my friend. Riding the wave, bearing through the storm. Have a piece of peace. That's right. What is it? Something like routine stuff, or just kind of got like an illness that needs treatments, I'm guessing, or something like that? I mean, you're still here. You're still with us. That is good. It's okay. You don't have to say it either. Don't mean to pry. Just curious. Curious what Mr. Olaf's going through. Okay, so. Okay, I have a good image here, but I need to mirror it. Yeah, right. Nice. Let's see. Trying to find a good side shot of a pistol and a hip holster. I mean, we could do just the pistol, make it, but not the front of the gun, just the butt of the gun, and then bake it, and then kind of wrap it in a holster. Yeah, well, you know. Sorry to hear that, Mr. Olaf. I hope all goes smoothly and all works out as intended. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to find just a hip holster in the style that I want here. Well, not like a thigh holster, sorry. Guess it's called a leg holster. Drop leg holster. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the one. Okay, now we save it. Pistol. Let's look at some specs here of this particular holster. Need to get exact measurements. See full description. I feel like it's not going to give me product dimensions. Okay, well then. Oh, drop leg holster. What's a standard pistol? Glock 19. I'm searching for Tarkov specifically. Let's see here. The PM Markov. Cheapest pistol in the game, available very early, minimal attached. Glock 17. TT-33, honorable mention. Modern player-made character, Glock 17. It's a PMC wearing bear armor. The MP44 Grok. MP44. Okay. Let's see. So, okay. So how big is that? How long from barrel to the back of the gun? In pixels. Real world length 7.8 inches. All right, sorry about that. All right, so let's see. 122 pixels. Okay, so now we grab this image here. Pistol. And I crop it from the butt of the gun to the end of the holster. And then we print. Oh wait, no, I have to change the size first. Oops. Resize image. What did I say? 122 pixels. Save. Okay, now we print. Good. All right. Just gotta make sure. I think with the guns, it's even more critical that we get the proportions exact for that to work with the character. So, all right, I'll be right back. lines. Okay, there. Printed it off. Now we can cut this out. Yeah. I imagine that comes with a hefty price tag, just like the permanent residence process. I haven't really looked into it too much for Enid yet, but I imagine it's a big, huge ordeal. Get on it. It's expensive, man. It's expensive paperwork of my life. Yeah. If not more, yeah, exactly. Very nice.
The strength of the cnotbusch kingdom lies not in our walls, but in our people. March to war.
Will. Ah! Roger! Breaking my whole system. Bringing it down. Let me replay that. Welcome, Reaper Miniatures and Company. We're making some tiny guns. Welcome. We're sculpting a Escape from Tarkov character here. It's time to arm the fella. We did the helmet, and we just started the rifle is in the oven, the first layer. And actually, I sculpted this sword earlier. There we go. Modern warfare meets medieval warfare. I'll just do that. I'll just give him this sword. All right, Roger, let me give you a proper pop-up here, Mr. Roger.
Good day, dear friend.
There we go.
Your contribution to the
That's
growth of
better.
our kingdom is invaluable. Thank you for your devotion.
Dragon tears. Yes, we do appreciate Reaper Miniatures around here, around these parts. Thank you very much. And thank you so much, Roger, for sticking with me for 63 months. What you thought was failure may be the soil of something greater. Ah, yes. Very good. What you thought was failure may be the soil of something greater. That's so true. In the garden, when things don't go right, you chop everything down and turn it into compost. Nothing goes to waste. Everything is used. It's mostly filling out paper and the application fee. If you have any questions, I might be able to answer them. Find it. I'm still in contact with some of my coworkers. Yeah. I'm sure there's fees. I guarantee you, because the fees for her permanent status was insane, absolutely insane. I guarantee you, it's some money. There's money in it. So I'm using these for proportion. So what I did is I looked up the exact measurement of this particular pistol and this particular rifle. I got a side shot image of them. Then I took my measurement of my character's height, and I just basically said he was 6 foot. So, and was able to calculate what size these needed to be to match what the 6 foot character at his size. And then I calculated that down into pixel size and then printed it off so we could use this to just to build the base to the sculpting part. So once we have the base established, once this part is established, the rest of it becomes pretty easy. That's kind of the hard part with stuff like this, is making sure that that the shapes are in the right spot and that the proportions are correct. So I wanted to make sure we did a good job with this. So this is his. Oh, you know what? I just realized it's backwards, but it doesn't matter. It needs to go this way. I forgot to mirror it. Oops. Doesn't matter though. Let's see. Also, we don't need the belts. We really just need the holster here. And the overall shape. There. Now, we have some rolled out clay here. I think this piece is actually pretty flat. Yeah. Oak. We'll put this down here. How many pixels per foot? Well, it depends on the DPI, which in the particular program I was using is like 92 pixels per. Was it 92 pixels per foot? I think so. Let me see. Yeah. 96. Sorry, 96 DPI. DPI, which is like 100. What? Oh yeah, 96 pixels per foot, basically. Or per inch, right? 96 pixels per inch. Yeah, inch, not foot. Oops. So we will cut this out and then bake this as well. And this will give us a good starting spot to build this We don't have to worry about proportion or shape. Per inch of the image or the real life. No, so per inch of the image. So the rifle is 437 pixels, which ends up being 4.55 inches. But the real one is where's it at? 31 inches with the stock extended. 27.9 inches with the stock collapsed, which, yeah, it's a 1/6 scale, almost 1/6 scale. Real person 6 foot equals 72 inches. Your character is 11.75 inches tall. That's roughly 1/6.1 scale. Very close to 1/6. If it was a 6 foot character at 12 inches, if the character was 12 inches, then it'd be a true 1/6. Yeah, 31 is the extended stock. This one's got the collapsed stock. So the numbers for the collapsed stock are 27.9 inches. We're doing the collapsed stock, not the extended stock. You can. You just don't do realistic military characters, or anything architecture related. You'll be just fine. Okay, so now this gets cooked, and that gives us our good solid foundation. And then we will probably just work on the sword while that's all baking. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna while those bases for those guns are cooking. We will sculpt the other side of the sword here. This is a piece of steel stick, so it started off as the whole thing has a piece of wire going through it, so it's a really straight piece of thin wire. This is the back side. Onto a flat piece of wood, and then I smushed steel stick, kind of a thicker blob of steel stick. And then when that fully hardened, I took it on the belt sander and got it, the sword nice and profiled down. Can even see where I ran into some of the wire here. Best thing to know about steel stick is it has flex to it too. It doesn't harden. It doesn't harden like other epoxy clays where it would be brittle. Yeah, most epoxy or resin, most epoxy things are inert after the chemical reaction's done, and they're resilient to heat. So like most like epoxy glues and epoxy clays and all that stuff can be baked. Hey, that one guy, thank you. So we sculpted the one side flat on a piece of wood, and then we baked it, and now we're just doing the other side. Basically, we're just mirroring it. That's our mission. Hey. Hello, Kofi. Yeah. The booze is wearing off. You have two options: keep drinking or sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, Looney Lerna. Don't. We'll see Looney Lorna on the news tomorrow. One of those crazy drunk people on the plane has to get carried out by like 3 people. Removed from the plane. Banned from Hawaii all the rest of the days of her life. Banished. Are we talking like mustache level? Mustache level? Buzzed head mustache level here? I think so. I think I probably do on, let me see. Let's check. A good hiding hole of random sculptures is my DeviantArt. My gallery is so spaced out all over the place. It's hard. It's just like, unfortunately, there's no one-stop shop to see it all, but this is the way it is. Let's see if we can find it on here. Oh, there's the video's right here. Oh yeah, okay, slideshow. So they don't let you post multiple images, so the missus made a slideshow of, which is just a video with all the still images. So you can just screenshot and probably zoom in or something. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here that you just won't find anywhere else. Tucked away. That's my own design. So I had a really interesting challenge. So this customer said they wanted a character that they wanted like my style medieval fantasy character that included avocados, a harmonica, and I can't remember what else. Anyways, I ultimately came up with a storyline of like Pros.
The strength of the cnotbusch kingdom lies not in our walls, but in our people. March to war.
Oh, it even shed it twice. Does that mean I get double your people twice? Double the viewers. Pros is hacking the system. He gave me 2 raids on my activity feed. Double raid. Hey, welcome guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I was just about to break into a story about an old project, but we're actually picking away at this sculpture here of the sword while we're waiting for parts to bake for this guy, this Escape from Tarkov character. So, come on in. Welcome. So, okay, back to story time. So this client wanted me to design a character that included avocados and harmonicas, and I can't remember what else. I think that might have been it. Super awkward, weird, like ideas that get smushed together. So I created a story of in this world, there was a foolish wizard that was eating lunch and accidentally either cast a spell or spilled a potion onto his lunch, and there happened to be like a sliced avocado there. Well, the sliced avocado grew into this bug monster creature, these avocado bug creatures, and then like skittered off and then kind of invaded the land and became a magical invasive species. So that's what this is. Designed after a sliced avocado, with the pit and everything. So anyway, so this guy became a avocado monster hunter, almost like pest control for this medieval fantasy realm. So he goes from town to town, specializing in slaying these creatures. And charging the people, and basically Witcher-esque, but more of like just medieval magic creature pest control, invasive species removal. And he uses his harmonica as like a enchanted harmonica that he uses to kind of summon the creatures from their hiding place so he can kill them. So you can see his armor is made from like parts of the carapace from the creature, because the creature has like venom, like acid venom. So by having the creature's like carapace as kind of like an armored, he has this whole side of him that's like armored up. So if it like spits, he can just kind of use that side of his body as like a shield. And then uses his crossbow and his spear to hunt these creatures. Avocado Witcher, if you will. Yeah. So that was my solution to the challenge of design a character that has avocados and harmonicas in a medieval fantasy style. So that was my solution. Avocados were once called alligator pears. That's true. Yeah. That is the story behind him. I've had commissions like that before with elaborate backstories. Like this one has an elaborate backstory too. The Bachmara. Trying to think what else there is. I liked how this is my own Myconid from the realm of D&D. I think this might have been the first one when we started really like upping our finished product filming setup. Started to like really try to push that side of things to the next level. It's that realization that like most of you will not see my finished work with your eyes. You won't see it in the room. So we need to do as good of a job as we can documenting it, because that's the only version of it you can actually see. So I really liked how that one came together with the colors and everything. This is when I was attempting to do a challenge of sculpting every D&D monster from the monster manual. That one, let's see, that one was, this is one of my biggest dragons right here. So that is a death knight, and then I had the mount, the Death Knight mount. A 2-character piece, all lit up, the whole thing lit up. How far did you get through the manual? Well, the problem was I didn't get very far, but the problem was it was something I wasn't doing as like, it was just a for fun thing that started spinning out of control. It started off as these small little sculpts, kind of like the troll heads, and then started morphing into these like full-fledged, 200-hour projects. So basically I got banished from continuing. else our ship would have sunk. We'll go back to it someday. Maybe. There is a mount from World of Warcraft. It's not like the standard mount that comes with Death Knights, but what is more challenging? I think it. I think it varies. I think it varies far, but the problem was it was something I wasn't doing as like it was just a for fun thing that started spinning out of control. It started off as these small little sculpts, kind of like the troll heads, and then started morphing into these like full-fledged, 200-hour projects. So basically I got banished from continuing. What is more challenging? I think that it's the same. The challenge is the same. The difficulty is the same. It's just different. Does that make sense? There's a different challenge with doing something that's designed yourself and doing something that is already designed. Because there is a level of ease when you do something that is already designed, because it's already there. I don't have to brain crunch how something looks because it's already there. But there's a level of fun that comes with being able to make up your own character and design. Also, when you are designing your own character, if something you start to do doesn't look exactly how you wanted it to look, but it still looks good, you can just kind of roll with it. But with a likeness piece, you can't do that. You know, you have to. I can't be like, I started making a gun for the Tarkov guy, and it ended up looking like a balloon animal, so I'm just gonna do that instead. You can't do that. So. So just different challenges. I wouldn't say one is more challenging than the other, honestly. I'm sure the client won't mind the. I was gonna do a realistic Tarkov guy, but it started to look like an infested Terran or a zombie, so I'm just gonna do that instead. This was a Tarkov guy, but then he started to get mutated by the chaos warp and turned into. Now it's Bozo the Clown. Yeah, exactly. When it's your own character, you can just go with it, and nobody's there to say that that's not what you intended, right? So, and there's a level of fun in that. This almost like discovery, It's like exploration. It's like visual exploration. That's why I think you could probably do a census of all the artists and see if they prefer making their own designs or sculpting existing things or drawing existing things. Most people would choose to do their own thing. I think it's because of that fun factor, But I personally have always appreciated knowing what the mission is, what the client wants, and kind of embracing the challenge of fulfilling that. I really like that. It just adds so much more value to the work you're doing if you give that part of your work to the person, The ability to choose whatever they want to be made has a value, And here's the thing, am I making artwork for myself or am I making artwork for other people? And I think most artists would have to say that they're actually making artwork for other people. It's for yourself too, but really it's for others, It's providing a kind of like a piece of yourself to the world, to other people. So we should make our work not just so we like it, but others like it too. So depends on the project. Yeah. Well, at least I could speak for myself. I make artwork for other people, and I very much enjoy that. Providing that service. It's like a baker that makes a bakery. But it says he's only baking for himself. You know what I mean? Oh, no. We're closed today. All the baked goods are what I like, and nobody can have even one crumb. Oh, no. My doors are open. I'll bake whatever pastries you like, okay? I find great fulfillment in making things for others as opposed to making things for myself. Ooh. Clay pastries? Yeah. Yeah, I'll sculpt whatever you want as long as it's a pastry. Didn't you know all of this is cake? At the end of the stream, I'm going to take a big chef knife and cut right through the whole thing, exposing the layers of cake in the middle. Just tune in till the end. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss out. Stay here all the way to the very end. I think the edible sculptures, like those big chocolate sculptures, are pretty cool and all, but I just can't help but think of all the wasted chocolate that's just never going to get eaten. I 100%, I think that they don't ever get eaten. Probably not even a little bit. Maybe like one piece gets broken off by the person who commissioned it and they take a nibble, but I bet most of it's just, you know, right in the garbage. Chocolate. Melt it down for a chocolate fondue. Yeah, but it's so much. Me and Emma were watching a YouTube video of some guys making a chocolate crocodile, you know, life-size chocolate crocodile. Great content, fun to watch, but yeah, there's definitely nobody's gonna be eating all that chocolate. That's for sure. Food for the bugs. Yeah, we have something discussed. Death by cow. I love those kinds of creative challenges. Those are always fun. To take like an idea or even just random objects or something and trying to create a composition around it. Is it all? No, when they work with chocolate, it's more of like they melt the chocolate a certain way so it has structure, and then they pour it into different molds or different forms to create the basic shapes. And then there's actually it's a lot of additive. Yeah, they temper the chocolate. It's a lot of adding. So they create these forms like cylinders or egg shapes as like the base, and then they they either carve that to add the details, or they take like almost like chocolate clay and like sculpt on top of it with that. There's all kinds of different methods that they have to work with the chocolate, but I think it's actually more additive than it is subtractive. So they're adding material, they're not removing material. Although they do subtractive as well. Modeling chocolate, yeah. Most of those big chocolate sculptures, they have to use multiple different methods to like achieve the look. So Freedom. Elbow vines. I don't know. I don't think we'll go monster cow. I think we'll try to keep it true to actual cow. You know, iconic white with black spots cow. But probably stylized. I'm thinking like set like that cell shaded, almost like chibi style. Of some sort of a, maybe like a, like character smooshed under the bum of the cow as it's like just sitting there munching grass or something goofy like that. That's what comes to my mind. You know, like Wicked Witch of the West, legs sticking out from underneath, smooshed by a cow. But more of like a stylized approach. Realistic cows standing on their hind legs and carrying halberds. The dev's voice saying, moo. So, Monty Python, Holy Grail cow that was catapulted from the French guy's castle. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, sure. Oh, sure. Cow loaded up into a catapult. Does sound pretty good. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, all my work gets painted, either by me or my wife. Everything is painted in the end. All right, let me go grab the gun. I think they should be long enough, hopefully. Our assault rifle base. I'll be right back. Hey, have a good night there, Looney Learner. Hey, sounds good. Sounds good. Maybe some sort of a Hawaii themed thing or something to commemorate your trip. I'm sure you have ideas. So. Okay, these need to cool down before we take them off. Okay. Hey, thanks. Yeah, I think so too. You know, weapons, the making of weapons used to be a very big hurdle, we'll just say, because without the proper technique to make a weapon, it's just absolute, it's just a nightmare. So it took me many years to much suffering to uncover the technique to building a weapon. Through the fires of trials. How many I typically they say to do 2, and you should probably start doing 2 till you feel comfortable. I do 1 though. I do 1, but I do it thicker, and I really pool it on there. So basically I put it on, and then it dries in the thinner areas, but it's still wet in the like deeper portions, and then I brush again. So it technically is like 2 or 3 coats, but I apply it 1 time, and just as it's drying I spread it around more. So that's how I deal with it. Speaking of which, let's just go ahead and fill this in here. I want to see how our chain link does here. First time making a custom chain, 1 link at a time here. But I have had a few whoopses before where I applied 1 coat and I just wasn't very thick with it, and it caused some problems. I also will say I think I've noticed I leave my C1 separator bottles kind of open and like this, and I feel like a certain amount of evaporation happens where the solution gets a little bit on the thicker side, more of like a thinned out paint and not as watery. And I like that better. It just seems to kind of not slide around too easily, you know. Sticks to the surface. Yeah, just leave your cap off of your C1 separator. It'll the consistency will change. No, but I've had many incidents of like a piece tipping over in the oven, which can be pretty catastrophic. It happens. Just have to, you know, work through it. So I had the same character fall over 2 times, actually. Twice. And then burned in the exact same spots twice. So I just get done fixing it, put it in the oven to lock in the fix. Falls over again, and that's if you don't learn your lesson, you're doomed to repeat it. Full display. It was, let's see, it was let's see here. I ended up having to sculpt the face over again because it got, by the second time it was just damaged. Face, and that's the thing too. Sometimes they tip over and it's in a spot that it doesn't really matter, but it was coming. Mr. Zephyrin, right here. This one. Yeah, it was like on the thigh here, some other spots, and then the head. The whole face had to be. I was glad that I had to redo the face though, because I like how it turned out much better. So it ended up being a good thing in the end. It's always the case, though. If you ever have to make something a second time, it's always going to be better. It's just... it's the mind game of getting over the fact that you have to do something you've already done, you know? Yeah, I was really happy with how that one turned out. Has he ever actually fought? Yeah, they have like an armor washing station, you know. Pristine. He just got that suit fresh that day. This might be cool enough now. So we should probably leave it stuck to the board and just sculpt right on top. Now the key here is we have to really focus on the thicknesses and get the thickness correct. That's the trick. Only a little bit on the actual clip itself. I think we'll add like a thin layer. I think we will add the silencer. I can go layer by layer. Yeah, totally. Just with a pasta machine. We're gonna add this. We're gonna add that part separate. Okay. Just kind of focus on each section. It doesn't happen very often, actually. I'm very in tune with that part of myself that knows I shouldn't make a certain movement, and I actually listen to it. Because how many times have you accidentally cut yourself and you get this like sense you probably shouldn't be doing that particular movement, and then like you just say, it's whatever, and you just cut it, and then you cut yourself. I would say most of the time. It's also very ingrained in me from a very young age. Boy Scouts, proper cutting. Proper cutting techniques. Always making sure your body isn't in the way. Thinking about not if you make the cut successfully, but if you fail to make the cut successfully, more than, like if I'm cutting something right here and I know there's a block of wood here to block my miss, that I'm thinking about that more than I am the actual cut itself. That like if I was to miss, would my range of motion be to the point where I would hit myself, Because that's a limiting of range of motion. For example, if I cut like this with my fingers, not with my whole arm, that's the full range of motion right there. So if I slip, that's as far as it can go. If I lift my arm up and I'm moving my whole arm like this, well, now I've unlocked this huge range of motion with way more kind of oomph behind it. So, or like, like this, when I brace my pinky here and I go like this, I cannot even go that way physically. Like I can't even cut that way, like my body just doesn't move that way. So it's like stuff like that. It's become such second nature that it's extremely rare for me to actually cut myself. And if it happens, it's usually one of those situations I know there's a chance of it happening, and I decide to do it anyways, I decide to ignore the gut instinct, even though it's always right. Something we all do. Oh, really? did you know a dull knife is actually more dangerous than a sharp knife? Believe it or not. A dull knife will cause you to use more force to make cuts, which will cause more slips to happen. That's because that's, you know, part of the recipe for bad cuts is lots of force. You know, when I'm doing like this light stuff, there's no way this will slip. Yeah, yeah, super glue for sure. I will say though, if you start using an accelerator spray, whenever you use CA glue, this will eliminate a lot of accidentally super gluing things. Cause like I find I super glue myself more often because I like glue something together and the glue just doesn't set right away, and I touch it again, or I adjust and then I bump into it, you know. So ever since I started using this, it happens. It still happens, but it happens way less often that I actually super glue my fingers to something or get it on my finger. Because I hate that feeling when I'm trying to sculpt. I really need not super glue on my fingers, you know. So. Yeah. Thanksgiving, yeah, I bet. You know, because it's like people go from never slicing a turkey or doing something like that to all of a sudden, I'm gonna do the thing that I don't really do a lot of. You know, I'm gonna try to like carve this turkey with a giant fork and a sharp serrated knife. Fingers are hard for a day or two. I can't stand it. I end up peeling it off. I don't know if my like hand skin has just gotten thick enough that I can like peel it off almost like Elmer's glue. A lot of the times, you just wait a little bit for like the oils underneath to kind of start activating, and then there you go. Deep frying a turkey can be a guaranteed fire also. Yeah, right? So much moisture. Yeah. Lurking it up. All right, man. Lurk it up. The best turkey I've had in my life was actually in Germany. And my brother-in-law had a rotisserie machine for his grill, and he brined it in a saltwater brine and then cooked it rotisserie style on a grill. It was quite an operation, but man, it was so good. It was their first Thanksgiving ever, and they beat every Thanksgiving I've ever had, food quality wise. It was the first year we brought Thanksgiving with us to Germany. They're also from the they're like in farm country, village life, so they got like high quality ingredients all around, and like the turkey was actually alive a couple days before in the next village over, you know. The funny thing is, so it was interesting to see what things like weirded them out, you know, because they were asking me what recipes or, you know, tradition, and the thing that weirded out, especially my brother-in-law the most, was cornbread. He was so like perplexed why we were having cake with meat. He's like, it's like, why are we having cake with meat? I don't understand. Because to them, like cornbread, the sweetness of the cornbread is very much the same level of sweetness as like a piece of cake, and it's not wrong, you know. He was very, very weirded out by the fact we were having cake with our meat. Let's just say we didn't have cornbread last Thanksgiving in Germany. Meat cake, good. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so there's one thing Americans do that seems to not be pretty standard anywhere else is we like to mix kind of like salt and sweet together, you know? Like the salted caramel type of stuff. But so that always weirded my wife out completely. But then of course she tried it and it's like, oh, this is pretty nice. Yeah. So that like kind of like combining of saltiness and sweetness. Definitely American. Or peanut butter, pretty much peanut butter on everything. Peanut butter and cheese on everything. Salted caramel originated here? I don't know. It's definitely bigger here. In Germany, the movie theater popcorn isn't salted buttered popcorn. It's actually like a sweet popcorn. It's a very American thing. Salted buttered popcorn. Like kettle corn. Yeah, I don't know. It's I guess that's probably the closest thing to compare it to. Salt on the sweet things and sugar in the savory things. Yeah, right. France, really. I mean, it's funny how a lot of those things are weird at first, but then how quickly they grow on you. You know, the big one, a weird one for me was a basement chilled beer in Germany. That most people drink the beer basement chilled, not like ice cold, not ice cold beer. It's not usually a. You know, some people like my mother-in-law likes her beer like refrigerator cold, but most of the beer is just in the basement chilled. when I first encountered that, I was like, oh, that's weird. But I actually like it too. Cool ones rather than cold ones. Yeah, that's right. Also, and this might just be my wife's village or her family, but they do their biggest meal of the day is like lunchtime, and then dinner meal is like almost like a spread with like just some bread and cheese and pickles. You know, like almost like a light kind of deli type dinner. Maybe a boiled egg or something, you know, like. But the big meal is, you know, like around noon. And they definitely don't do breakfast like Americans do breakfast. I don't think a lot of places do, to be honest. Like these heavy, super dense breakfasts. Continental breakfast. Very fancy, very fancy. Tell you what, man. Best breakfast meal, American style breakfast meal, in my opinion, is 2 eggs over easy, hash browns with hot sauce. You know, break up the eggs, get that nice runny yolk, mix all together with the hash browns and a little bit of drizzled hot little Cholula sauce on there. Man, that never gets old. Maybe a side of toast or pancakes. Beans with maple syrup. Get out of here. How dare you offend me with such things? No, not thank you. I'll pass on that stuff there, Clayton. A French toast, I will definitely, I do enjoy some French toast. The occasional pile of French toast is pretty good. Is it now? People sure do love bacon, but no thank you. Be putting bacon on everything. Oh, definitely. Definitely is. On the same classification as smoking cigarettes, actually. Which is kind of insane if you think about it. It's like we live in the era of like before they found out cigarettes were unhealthy. Yeah, bacon is considered a class 1 carcinogen, and they put it in everything. Isn't that crazy? Let's see, what else is class 1? Tobacco smoke, asbestos, alcohol, arsenic, diesel exhaust. And right up next to it, processed meats. Same category. Isn't that crazy? Think about that. Asbestos. And think about all the protocols involved with like keeping people warned and away from all those other things, but yet there's bacon in everything and sandwich meat and all that stuff. It's really annoying because you know what's going to happen? Eventually it'll catch up and they will do all the things they're doing now for like tobacco. But they'll do it for the processed meats, maybe. And then the crazy sculptor guy doesn't look so crazy anymore, talking about it all the time. Right? Stop eating bacon, Clayton. Just stop it. Farmers won't have it. I mean... Yeah, I mean, the tobacco industry is a really money-making industry, and they're able to get past them. That'll happen with social media one day, be seen as the way we see smoking is. Today, you think so? With social media? Yeah, maybe. Nah, social media is worse for you. Hey, no, because, okay. Social media is like fire, okay? It's like a knife, right? It can be used for great things or terrible things, right? It's all about how you use it. The object in itself is not good or bad. but it's how it's used that's good or bad. Smoking tobacco, there is no good. It's just bad. Just damages health. That's all. Gets you addicted, damages your health. There we go. There is the only subtle argument there is there's actually been studies that between the kind of relation between nicotine and Alzheimer's prevention. That's about it. The act of actually smoking or inhaling smoke into your lungs is nobody anywhere argues that that's even a little bit good for you. So. Oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. I'm just glad I never, that's one of those things I never started, because I'm sure I would have a problem with it too. I think they even say quitting tobacco is harder than quitting some of the hard drugs. I believe it too. I've seen so many people try to fight that battle, and not easy. Yeah. I am. The only reason that I was like pretty fervently against it from even when I was younger was my grandpa died of lung cancer. So, and I watched that whole process play out. And it was attributed to his smoking in the past. So whether that's the case or not, it at least made me never want to go down that road. Yeah, right. Smelled like a smoker. Right. Sense of taste, sense of smell comes back. Yeah. Grapefruit juice. Interesting. I mean, I always imagine it's like most things. Once you get over the hump, the withdrawal hump, then you're kind of like free and clear. Or your body's literally like freaking out. Has to like reestablish chemical balance. Which I think it comes from the fact that your brain naturally produces nicotine, or it produces the thing that nicotine replaces. And when you artificially add it to your system, your body basically stops producing it. Because, hey, it's like, I'm getting this from another source. I don't need to make this. And so when you stop, you basically have to like go through this no man's land where you're not getting the thing that your brain needs. Until your body's like, wait a minute, we need to start making this stuff again. Oh yeah, that's true. Like dopamine. The social media dopamine link. After a meal with the coffee. Yeah, it's the it's like having coffee in the morning type of feeling, like basically your morning feels like it's missing something. Start eating raw onions. Nice. Every second of your day feels like you're missing something. Yeah, geez. Well, hey, I'm glad you got away from it. And anyone that has gotten away from it, it's good for you. And anyone that hasn't, that's been thinking about it, you definitely should. I highly recommend it. But totally also understand the struggle. It's a struggle. A struggle worth struggling with. Yeah, I mean, I've had cigar occasionally too, Bob. I just don't think that's on the same level as smoking cigarettes every day, day in and day out. It's just like with anything, you know. Bob. Or like I tried sniffing tobacco while in Germany. That's not something I've never even heard of until I was hanging out with my wife's cousin's husband, and he just taps a little thing on his hand and sniffs it. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? It's like, oh yeah, it's sniffing tobacco. Okay, never heard of such a thing. I think it's very European. I've never been exposed to that here in the States, so. But, yeah. Just have to be careful the things that we allow into our day-to-day life, you know. That's when things mostly become problems. We chew it. All right, folks. I'm gonna leave things there for now. We'll continue building our weapons next time. Pistol and rifle, and this nice sword. I'm gonna get out of here. Gonna get some rest. Tomorrow is Friday, so we'll be working on the dragon in the morning. I think we're doing Discord show and tell, if anyone wants to share anything in Discord. And we'll also be doing troll heads tomorrow as well, so if you want to come and get a troll head, make sure you're here. 11 a.m. Central. Not this week. Oh, it was last week. Okay, sorry, not show and tell this week. We are doing just troll heads, so working on the dragon, then we're doing troll heads. Thank you, Clayton. But yeah. So we only do 4 of these per week, so if you want to get one, just make sure you're here by 11 a.m. Central Time when I open the shop, and you can claim one. You can commission whatever character head you can think of. There's a class on Sunday, yep. Hey, thank you, Kula. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Let's find someone to raid, and I will be getting on out of here. It's been a good week, man. Finish things strong with our Friday stream tomorrow. Oh, hey, Be at Easel's on. Let's go raid DJ Beat Weasel. Go see some. She does like very realistic painting work of surreal things. Let's go see what she's up to. She also does some sick beats. That's why they call her DJ Beat Weasel. See? Beat Weasel. All right. Till next time, folks. Bye-bye.